Good morning, Mark Nudelberg. Welcome back to the lineup.
Great morning. Welcome back to another Nudelberg Daily Huddle. Excited to be back in the lineup, but it was nice yesterday to watch the show and just get to enjoy the content from the audience. And what a great conversation it was about the old Bobby Knight and the dichotomies of leadership in today's world.
Today's guest will probably shine in, being that Indiana is and Indianapolis is his home base. But yeah, great conversation, totally on the fly. And that's one of the cool things about this show is just, something pops up in the world. And just as if you were meeting people in a coffee shop, you just break open a conversation and away you go and do it. And so it was super fun. You spent the day as doing the daddy duties in addition to working. I loved your post this morning. Just comment on it if you would.
Yeah, just I try to make it every day, but we do daycare pickup, and then we walk the dog and take Jules for a bike ride, and it is a calendar block on my calendar, so that when people say, "Hey, can you do something at 4:30?" I'm like, "No, I can't. I got 4:30 to 5:30 really blocked to go get to daycare, pick up Jules, come home, do the walk, and do the stuff." I did a call after that with Brian Urge, and I did a call before that with Robin Raphael. So I was bookended with work on both sides of that, but I was still able to get there and see him at school, which was a blast because he didn't really want to go home. He wanted to play with his toys and do his stuff. And then we did our walk, and it was just really great. And Gabby was on a day trip to Houston, so it was cool to just have boy time, and it was a real blast. So it inspired me to write about it this morning.
I'm glad. Like a lot of the work that I'm doing as the year ends is time management stuff. I have two group sessions that I'm doing on time management because people are saying, wow, I'm running out of time. And that's complete bullshit. There's no such thing, So you talked about blocking the time, blocking and tackling to its best. And so I'm proud of you. I'm glad I got to spend some time with him on FaceTime. And the fact that he's yelling out Poppy, man, is blowing
my I know that made your night last night.
Yeah,
What was
for
cool is that
me,
he actually heard your voice. He did
right.
it by hearing your voice on speakerphone, which was super cool. But I'm super excited to have Bert on the show today. Like, I met Bert 4 years ago when I first moved down to the market through LinkedIn, the way you're supposed to do it. We had a call. I told him what I was doing. And then, just the way the world works, it continued to bring us closer and closer together through Joe and through all of the other people that we connected with. But I love Bert. I've always looked at him as a role model and somebody that I've tried to model myself after in the marketplace. So super excited to share his journey on the show today.
I agree. I would call it the Mutual Admiration Club. I love who he is. I love what he does. No more bullshit. Shay, wake this thing up. Let's play his walk-up music, and let's get to Bert Miller. All right. Mark, that's Virginia Tech song.
Well, yeah, right? So like Bert, like the unbelievable walk-up song, but for me that has real memories of Blacksburg on like a Thursday night primetime TV, and that place just absolutely rocking and all of the fireworks going off as that drum solo hits right there.
Yeah.
Like, just good stuff.
Yeah, that's the reason I picked it, by the way.
Really?
It was funny. Oh, yeah, yeah. I have other songs I love, but I picked that when I go, yeah, I'm on with Nudelberg. Mark is down there, Florida State. Vatech, that's back when Vatech was really good, when you were there at Florida State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the energy of that song, bringing, introducing the team is amazing.
Yeah, we played against them. Tyrod Taylor was there. I mean, they were, we played against them in the ACC championship. They were a very,
Yeah.
very good program when I was at Florida State. It's fun games.
So
Yeah.
let me kick this thing off. We know you. We love you. I know you as an entrepreneur. I know you as a disruptor.
Mm.
I know you as a dad. I know you as a football fan, but our audience doesn't. So our first question is usually, who the hell is Bert Miller?
Yeah, great. Well, it's very broad. I can go a lot of different directions, but at the end of the day, I grew up, and you guys already alluded to it, Indiana. I grew up in a small town in northern Indiana. Was blessed to be one of the first. Well, was the first one to go to university in my family, so had that opportunity to do that. And my parents, somehow they were able to. They stayed close to home and never had that opportunity, but somehow encouraged me to really look beyond my horizon that I was given, and always told me to listen with my ears, see with my eyes, and make my own decisions. And that's what I've always done. That's what I'm doing today, and that's what I'll continue to do.
So did you go to IU?
No, I went to
Ball State, baby.
Oh, that's
Ball
right.
State,
Right.
yeah.
You've always been on the ball. You see, you've always
Yeah,
been on the ball, man. I love that.
yeah, exactly.
So
So,
tell
Ball
us about
State.
your career, because you do so much. You're a groundbreaker in in so many areas. Like, give us the scope of
Yeah.
what you do every day.
Well, early on, my dad was an entrepreneur. He tried to open various businesses when I was a kid, so I got to see it firsthand from the front row seat. But then when I went to university, I came out of school and interviewed with the E&J Gallo Winery. Went to work for Gallo for a number of years,
Oh, wow.
and that's a great experience. Talked to a recruiter, ironically enough, and landed with Revlon North America. Spent about 7 years there, and then we've been talking about family. I was able to. My first child was born. My second child was born, so I had a daughter and a son. At the time, my daughter was about 9 years old, and she was making some fast pitch softball all-star teams. My son was starting to play t-ball. I needed to find a way to be with them and coach them, and be that person with them and blocking out those times during the day, Mark, as you're doing. And so I took the leap and started Protis Global at that point in time, and really enjoyed the ride. And once I got into Protis Global, we started building a retained search firm that it kept me very close to the world I grew up in, which is consumer products. I started learning the nuances of corporate America, and it's just been an amazing ride all the way through. Later on, starting a staffing firm, then I acquired MRI Network, which we had a successful exit out to a public company. And today, the last few months, I've jumped on a board of a company that's bringing some technology here to the U.S. that will turn air into water. So that's my career resume.
So when I met you, I had just started at ESPN, and obviously I was connected to Joe, and you started to show up in the content, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's badass, and I got to know him. So I reached out through a message and said, hey, would you do virtual coffee with me? And you did. And we had a great initial conversation. I was learning about how you were starting to move in, like the MRI network thing was like just in the infancy stages. And I think
Yeah,
you even told me like I couldn't even talk about it publicly yet. And then a year later, I was entering into my entrepreneurial journey, and we got on
mm,
the phone again and we started talking. And one thing you told me was always keep in mind the role that talent is going to play in your business. He
yeah.
said, you said, don't ever forget about the role that talent's going to play. Can you talk to people about that, on how that's been a philosophy of yours and what that really means?
Yeah, I think we deal with a lot of organizations, and you can see the whole gamut. You have people that are they're recruiting folks, and it's interesting that how people make offers and how you can always tell how and what they believe in the talent in their organization. And what I mean by that is, like the company that I'm just starting with, Air to Water, an air water company. The global CEO there, he's committed. He's looking. He knows, he gets one time to be new in the U.S. and he understands the importance of hiring the right talent. But we deal with so many hiring leaders that either culturally they have a toxic organization, they want to hire somebody on the cheap. You see it in sports all the time as well. And so the people that really want to be champions in the business, they really they understand their story. They understand that they have a mission and a North Star. They're able to articulate that to the marketplace, which then they become a destination. People become magnetized and attracted to that. And as they tell the story to me, they have their North Star. Then as they recruit people, that's who they are in their own connective tissue and their DNA. They bring those people in and they go after the best talent, and they're going to pay them appropriately. They're going to put them in the right role that's appropriate, and they're going to give them the support and resources that are appropriate. And those are the companies that ultimately win. I look at Coca-Cola. If you want to look at a large organization, Coca-Cola with 300,000 people in that organization is one of the most amazing companies that runs where all the story just cascades through an entire organization. It's really interesting.
So how does somebody get to being a Coca-Cola? How do you go from being a 3-person, 5-person, 10-person,
Yeah.
50-person shop and scale the right way so that you can have the story cascade that way? What's the key to success in that?
Well, to scale, you need a foundation. I mean, the foundation starts with who you are and where you're going. And if you have a business and you cannot articulate your North Star in under 5 seconds, you have a problem. So you're building on sand at that point in time. You're hiring, you're losing. You hire somebody good, it's something that you lose this person over here. But when you have the foundation and you live to that every single day, and that's part of your story and who you are, people become, it's not a job anymore. They're part of something. And as humans, we want to be part of something.
Mm.
We don't want to just go in and clock
Community,
in.
right?
We want to be,
Right.
we want to be part of something. And then when you're able to do that, it builds off one another. And then you have your team that is rowing in the same direction toward that North Star that you are, that then attracts others. And so you become you become that destination versus having to continue to, hire, fire, whatever you might do.
So
I have a
yeah,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
So, Mark alluded to the fact that you met on social media. I met Joe the same way. You were my conduit to Joe. So we were early adopters of social media. You built your personal brand. And for those that don't know, LinkedIn started as a recruiting tool. So those people like me said, I'm recruiting clients and relationships. Let me use the same tactics. Because you were an early adopter, I want to know what the impact of people thinking they can recruit themselves versus hiring a firm like yours, which is highly specialized. Because I think, we live in this do it yourself mentality, and that kind of, sort of dilutes the power of somebody who really knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, well, you know this. I mean, you do it every single day, Steve. I mean, when you look at LinkedIn, particularly today, but even at the beginning, in its own way, it became a job posting service. And I just think when I look at job postings, I see it devalues the opportunity, the role, in many ways. But it also creates a lot of white noise too. There's a bunch of people, and so those who understand that there is a lot of white noise and have the ability to start to separate themselves in the way that they provide content, whether it be educational content, or you're informing them within a particular sector or space that you work in, or like what you guys do every single day with your inspiration and inspiring people to get out of bed and do what they do each day, which I think is fantastic. That it has meaningful content, and now you're starting to separate yourself from those others, and people their eyes start to look at you to bring content. Even people that don't even give you an impression, they may not even I'm sorry, engagement. They may not engage you with a like or a comment, but they know what the hell you're doing. And it's so very important that you're consistent, and it's so very important you are who you are. And people either, not everybody's going to love your stuff, but the ones that do, that will be part of your tribe, they will start to migrate toward you.
Yeah, you use
Great
my favorite
answer,
word,
but
try.
I wanna take it one more level, because a lot of the companies we have recruiting coordinators who don't do nothing more than spend money, put a LinkedIn ad up, and they go,
Yeah.
"I'm recruiting." So I want, if you can, without giving away the secret sauce. I mean, we were talking about Coca-Cola, they're not giving you the secret sauce. You know, what separates a firm like yours from somebody who says, "I can do it myself"?
Yeah, thank you. I didn't really answer your question. I think one of the things that what we do is when you engage with somebody and you find them on LinkedIn, is you have the ability to connect with them through them. I mean, people want to talk about what their personal scorecard is. People, we all make decisions personally, professionally, financially, and that's how we make those decisions. And when you're just calling or you're in mailing or whatever you're doing on LinkedIn, and you have no way to that person of any common denominator, or do not know how to approach them, it becomes very transactional. And when you
Thank you.
and so these customers, when they have it's become, or these companies, they become very transactional in their approach, because they're moving fast and they have the pressure to go build their organizations, versus us, which we do it for a living. It's the same thing. I mean, you don't go to a dermatologist to get brain surgery. So it's the same thing.
So I want to ask, you've been on this platform from its inception, and I've seen it just in the last 5 years rapidly change. The amount of people that are putting out content to begin with, still not as many users, still an unbelievable place to get organic reach and do all the things that you had in the beginning. But you've definitely seen the style and the LinkedIn influencer, and you've just seen people kind of migrate to different stereotypes, if you will, inside of the platform. What's kind of your thoughts on the way that the platform has grown, the amount of in-mail and spam that people are getting now? What's your thoughts on where it's come from and where it is now?
Yeah, well, it's a much more elevated Facebook. I mean, unfortunately, it's gone that way. And I'm sure you guys get them in your emails every single day, as I do. There's all the solicitations. If somebody writes a nice note, they want to connect. You hit to connect, you hit to connect, and they hit this bell, and all of a sudden, boom, hey, and it's just like it's lazy,
Do you wanna buy
number
a
one.
franchise? Do you wanna buy
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Lazy.
franchise?
It's lazy.
It's just lazy. It is lazy. And for those that are out there that are doing that, I'm sorry, but you're
I'm
really
not
being
sorry.
lazy.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
I
you're
call
being
those I
you're being
call them what
you're
they
being
are,
lazy.
man. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So somebody had put, or Rich had put in the questions, which I wanted to ask you when you said it. What's your North Star? You've built a lot of different organizations. You've led a lot of different teams. You've continued to grow and evolve. What's been the North Star that's attracted great people to you?
Yeah, building companies, changing lives. It's really simple in our team. If you asked our team, that I would be disappointed if they didn't say that.
Oh,
But
fucking
yeah,
strong.
yeah, building companies,
Nuggets.
changing lives, and because look, that was one of the things. Like Michael Vitar, my business partner, who's been with me 27 years. He was a candidate, and then when I talked to him, he said, "Man, something is really different." And he did not know I'd started the firm and owned the firm. But we just treated people differently, again, through the scorecard methodology and getting to know them versus a transaction. Later on, we placed him at another consumer products company, and then when I got word he's considered making a move, I flew him to Indianapolis back when you could actually go to the gates, and he joined Protis Global, and he's continued that process. Has been great at helping us build out that what I would call our DNA, and building companies and changing lives. We've been able to do that, and I think when you come from the prospect of, it's not just about making a placement or placing somebody at a company, but we're talking to literally hundreds of people every single day or week, definitely every week, hundreds of people. You're impacting those folks, even the ones that don't get the role, who then have partners, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, older children, whatever the case may be. And that cascades all the way through to their families across the board. And literally, you're impacting thousands of people you don't even know you're impacting. So it's what it is. You're building companies and changing lives, man.
So you've done a lot, and by anybody's standards, you've had a phenomenal career, well respected by your peers. What drives you today? I mean, a lot of the CEOs that I work with are saying, well, I'm never going to retire because that's not in my DNA. I'm going to look for something else. Now, this is a loaded question because I know you're into something new that I want you to share with people, because what you're attempting to do is a heavy lift, but it's really exciting.
Yeah, it is. Building and transforming businesses. I think I've found kind of my calling in that. I've been blessed. I've worked in corporate America. I started two companies from scratch that have had reasonable amount of success. I've been on the buy side of a company that was at the time in disarray and really struggling to continue to survive, quite candidly. And then been on the sell side of that company that was a successful exit to a public company. And then now I'm getting a chance to be on a board of an organization that will be public. So it'll be a public board of directors, which will be a kind of a new experience. And then I've had the opportunity to then invest early on in beverage companies. So the opportunity to make an impact in these businesses, particularly at the right time of where they are, and then do it with really, really great people. That's the thing that just keeps me going, and it drives my wife nuts. I mean, she really wanted me to. She really wanted me to do something. She wanted to, like, she thought she was going to travel all over when we exited the other company, and that's not been the case.
When does your book come out? The timeline that you just gave. When do I get to read this book?
You know what? Tell me where to go to get that done. I have actually thought about that, quite honestly, because there's a lot more depth. There's a lot more depth. Anybody out there who writes books, please reach out.
Done. We'll create that introduction for you 1000%, because I would love to read that story. I know that you're constantly educating every day through your LinkedIn platform. Your content is always spot on, but I would love to read that in a concise version, to where it's really boiled down to the nuggets and the journey that you've gone through. Because every time I've had a virtual coffee with you or a conversation with you, we've gone to overtime. Now on the Nudelberg Daily Huddle, we're going to overtime.
Hey, give me some overtime. Bert, can you stay a few?
And we'll go to overtime.
Just so you know, that's a badge of honor. Like, if you were a boring guest, we would say, "Hey, thanks for coming," and get the hell out of here.
So you're in this talent space, right? You've seen the workforce evolve over all these years. I would love if you could drop a couple of skill sets or a couple of skills that people should be really focusing on in terms of being the best professional they can be in today's workplace.
Yeah, look, if I were trying to help people and give them some advice for their career, it's really depending on where you are. But if you're early in your career, get to know who you are. I mean, you have to find out who you are as an individual. The other thing I'd say, take a look in the mirror and be honest with yourself, and know that every decision you're making today is going to impact where you are 5 years from now. I mean, that's what we're doing today is going to impact where we are, 5 years from this very moment. And I don't know that we always realize it. We kind of get caught in our moment, and
the
that
only
happens.
reason why we're here is what we did 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Bingo.
The people you hang with, obviously you've heard this phrase, but it's so true. The people you hang with will tell you what your future is going to be, because you have to be willing to be around people that are better than you and that give you really, really honest feedback. And if you're not humble, or if you're not open to that, you're not going to learn. I was told very early in my career to study those, to where, if there's some place you want to be, study those people. And then again, keep mentioning the scorecard, but just understand who you are, as I mentioned earlier, and that's how we make all of our decisions. If I were doing that, those are the things I would do. And I would also, lastly, learn to network. I did not really become a great networker until I was in my 40s. And if you're young out there, man, learn to network very, very early. It will catapult you beyond places that you don't even realize that you can go.
So then my final question for you would be, what's on your scorecard?
Yeah. Interesting question.
You
My
have to kill
personal
you. He'll
scorecard.
tell you, but he'll kill you.
Yeah. My wife will never see this. I don't think. No, my personal scorecard really is to spend as much time as I can. I'm definitely a father, a husband, and now a newly minted grandfather. And he's awesome, man. So really to spend time with them is really one of my personal goals, and give them all the time I have. I'm 62, so father time's undefeated. So you want to make sure you carve out those times, but that doesn't mean you can't continue to be relentless and pursue things business wise. So, today, public company board of directors, Protis Global, doing that, but I'm looking forward to bringing this new technology to the U.S. and we open up the U.S. air to water, and then parlay that into starting to build relationships at very high levels of private equity to do other things with those firms, because I need this story to happen to work to continue to build that resume. So I'm continuing to build a resume at 62. Financially, there's no number. I mean, there's no number for me. I think from my perspective, if you take care of the family, you do the things professionally you're passionate about, the byproduct in the end is you'll be able to take care of yourself, financially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bert, you
Nailed it.
surpassed the bar, crushed the bar, and just absolutely dominated Huddler in the hot seat. Thank you so much for all of the wisdom that you share. Thank you for being a guest on the show. Thank you for being a friend and a mentor. And what can the Nudelberg Daily Huddle tribe do to help Bert?
No, I want to come in. I want to bring it back to what you guys do every day. Thank you for what you do. I mean, when you kick off the show, the energy, the positivity, and the conversations and the content you're bringing to your audience every single day is inspiring. I know there's people getting out of bed every day to watch you guys. So I really just want to thank you for what you do. Thank you.
Appreciate that,
Dude,
Bert.
to be continued. Like I said yesterday, and I don't know if everybody knows the answer, but what do you get when you put two bald guys together? You get an ass, man.
Awesome
great,
stuff. Sir. Everybody have a great weekend. We will see you guys on Monday. Bert, thank you again. Let's get down to business.
Thank you.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. Friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business.